Defensive back, running back Todd Robinson has Alabama in his top 2. We're going to talk about the heavy Georgia lean and how he might come to Tuscaloosa. Kahlil Jacobs, didn't he have that great relationship with his old defensive coordinator? Oh, no, that was his head coach at South Alabama, Kane Womack. Well, guess what? He's been to Auburn, and now all of a sudden it looks like he's going to Auburn. He's delayed his visit to Tuscaloosa. We're going to talk about that. Mark Sears, NBA Combine, doesn't matter. He's coming back to Tuscaloosa. I'm going to tell you why. And decision day for Clifford Omoruyi. Is Alabama getting another big man on that Hoops team? All that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. And the other thing I want you guys to do, and I want you to think seriously before you say it, roll Tide. There he is, big, sexy Elmo in the mornings on WJLX. You like that song, Brett?
You need to join the West Jasper 7.
I'm like have you ever seen the skit on SNL where Eddie Murphy was the 5th Beatle? I'm the 8th West Jasper 7.
Yeah.
At Broadcaster Mitt. At Brett Elmore Show. Great to see you, Brett, and happy Sunday to you. All right, let's get right into this. Right out of the chute, let's talk about Todd Robinson. Defensive back, running back. This guy can catch the ball. He can run it into the end zone. He's a great defensive back as well. Heavy Georgia lean, but he says Alabama's right up at the top of his list.
Well, it's very confusing because he's listed as an athlete, but in high school, there at Valdosta High School, he is a quarterback. So he's being recruited to play running back or DB. And if that doesn't confuse you enough, let's just say this. He's just an athlete. He's just an all-around good athlete. Last year in high school, he eclipsed the 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard passing marks. He threw for 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He rushed for 5 touchdowns. He caught 3 passes for 42 yards and a touchdown. I don't know if he threw it to himself because it sounds like he plays all over the field. But I guess the colleges are looking at him as a guy that they're going to use either, depending on where he goes, running back or defensive back. And I would think Alabama would probably use him as a DB. He runs track, and the kid was offered from Michigan offered him on Friday. So, I don't know. He, it seems like he really likes that hometown or that home state team in Georgia, but Alabama's on the list along with LSU and South Carolina and some of the other SEC schools try to get his services. He's 6 foot, 185 pounds.
Yeah, you got Georgia on the on 3 side. They say like they're about 90% to get this guy. Alabama 5%, LSU 3 and change, South Carolina on the list, right?
Yeah,
but he's a 4-star on 24/7, a 3-star on 3. ESPN and Rivals haven't even figured him out yet. This is a guy who's got a ton of talent, and I'm sure he's going to be a high riser. So it's good to know that he's got Alabama as one of the top 2 teams, obviously Georgia number 1. But, we'll find out what happens. This new staff has connected with him, and, he's going to take visits to places like Tennessee. And, obviously, Georgia's heavily on his radar. So interesting. Now, Kyle Henderson, our buddy from Bama Football on YouTube, is reporting that Kahlil Jacobs changed his visit, which he was supposed to be in Alabama. He's supposed to come to Alabama, pushing it back a week. And now On 3 and the people that cover recruiting are telling us that this guy's going to Auburn.
Well, we lost. Well, it seems like we've lost a member of the 2021 Northwest Florida Daily News Dandy Dozen. The linebacker, I don't know. Well, I guess he just had an excellent trip to Auburn. I don't know. Him delaying his visit to Alabama is something that you worry about because, and that news that he's 90% likely to go to whatever it was, 90% likely to go to Auburn, but he still has Alabama on his mind, but he's delayed it a week. So he's going to think a little bit. He's going to use this week long and hard because when he comes to Tuscaloosa, if he follows through next weekend, Alabama is going to make a very strong push to get this guy because if they don't want to lose him to Auburn.
6'2", 220. He's originally from Niceville, Florida, played for South Alabama last year. Kane Womack was his head coach. He's now the defensive coordinator at Alabama. And it felt like Alabama was going to get him. The last time the transfer portal opened, he came in, came out. Now he's out again. This could be one of those deals, too, where he's basically just going to see how the bidding war turns out and figure out where he's going to go.
Oh, God, I hate this.
It feels like that.
Yeah, I mean, God, I hate this. But, yeah, that's also concerning, too, because, he's already used to Coach Womack. I don't know. Auburn must have really, really wined and dined him, I guess.
Look, I got a message from our buddy Judy, watches all the shows, and he's like, Mick, I feel like you're taking shots at Nick Saban over the transfer portal and over NIL. And I will tell you this. First off, I love Nick Saban, okay? Let's just throw that out there. I love him. My saying's been, if it's good enough for Nick, it's good enough for Mick. I've been saying that since before he won a national championship. Okay, but guys, he's not with Alabama anymore. He is on ESPN's team. I know he works at Alabama, but he's not a coach at Alabama. It's Kalen DeBoer. And I'm just telling you, part of me being here is telling you what I know, and I know from people that are very, very dialed in with Alabama that Nick Saban was hesitant about the NIL thing, about raising money, about being part of this really effed up system that we have right now. And I don't blame him. But the bottom line is this, is the money matters now. Guys like Kahlil Jacobs are going to go somewhere else because they're going to get more money. And that's going to happen. And look at, the DB that went to Ole Miss. Yeah. We don't have Nick Saban as head coach. Yeah, Hamilton. We don't have Nick Saban as head coach. They're not going to take a discount to come play for Kalen DeBoer. They're just not. And as much as we love Kalen DeBoer, who has stepped in and done a fantastic job in this role, and as much as we hate the way that this system is right now, it's the system that we're in. So we got to be honest about that. And we got to understand that all the great things that happen and all the winning that happened, we didn't win in NIL. We didn't win in raising money for that. I'm not saying that I think it's a good thing because I don't, but what I'm just telling you is we're losing a lot of these battles in the transfer portal. We could lose some battles in recruiting because of the situation with our NIL. I think our NIL is good, but I don't think it's great. And I think we got to support it. And honestly, I'm hoping that, and I think eventually this thing will kind of get settled, but that's not where we are right now. So programs that aren't as good, like Ole Miss, perennial, also rans, whatever you want to call them. Middle of the pack. They're going to buy themselves into the conversation. Okay? So just know that. And we've got to be ready for it. That's what my point is. Okay? So it's not anything that I'm saying, hey, I'm not a cheerleader for what's going on right now. But I love Alabama, and I want to see us kick everybody's butt in football for as long as I can. I was at another place, and I remember somebody saying, hey, it'll be great for us as a business if Alabama loses. And I said, I don't care what business is like. I want to win every game. Every game. And that's how you do it right now. You do it with the NIL. So it's part of it. Not every part of it, but it's part of it. We got to remember that. So keep that in mind. And I just wanted to justify that. But I love all of you guys in the comments. And the fact that you're part of what we're doing here makes this so much fun. And we're going to keep doing it. It was great to have Clint Lamb on. And I do apologize, too. We put the video out and then, to try to coordinate it for all of our schedules. And then Hamilton, he said that it was probably going to happen. We probably should have just known that when, Clint said that. We should probably just assumed. But anyway, I do apologize for that. Anyhow, Brett, let's get into some hoops because we're a basketball school and a football school.
Whoa. Time out.
Well, jump in, Brett. Jump in.
So what you're trying to say is you hate Nick Saban.
No,
look, let me tell you something. If there's one man that loves Nick Saban, it is Mick Gillispie.
I love the guy.
I've been to his house. He's got pictures of Nick Saban all over the place, and he's got a Nick Saban garden gnome in his front yard.
I've got a Nick Saban autographed football.
Yep.
And you're right. I've got a lot of Daniel Moores with Nick Saban. All the Nick Sabans are there. There's a whole wall of Nick Saban. So I love Nick Saban, but Coach was really worried about the way that this was going to turn out. I don't think he saw this coming. I mean, I think he thought it was a possibility, but he figured that eventually, common sense would play out, and it just hasn't. And I think that's kind of why we are where we're at right now. But Kahlil DeBoer, Nate Oates, these guys going out and going around and fundraising and all of us getting involved as much as we can is going to make a difference.
Sure.
All right. And I don't hate Nick Saban.
Right.
All right. Here's this one. Okay. Brett, Mark Sears gets an invite to the NBA Combine. Great. Mark Sears. Go through all of this stuff. 78 guys got an invite to this.
Yeah.
That's not counting the guys from overseas and, whoever else, right?
Right.
Mark Sears is coming back to Alabama. He's not going to the NBA. He's not going to play in the G League. He's going to make probably $1.5 million, $2 million playing basketball at Alabama. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think you're absolutely right. And if he goes anywhere, he's going to probably go to the G League where he's making on average $40,000 a year
in front of nobody.
Right. I mean, let's just be brutally honest. I mean, literally, that's what they make a game or a year,
a season. Yeah,
$40,000 is what the G League pays each player as a salary to play for the season. He can, Mark Sears can eat taco casa and they'd pay him $40,000, or something, it's crazy, but I think he, not only that, I think he still needs to improve his stock. It's going to be a win-win. You come back to Tuscaloosa. Let's win us a championship.
I think he's coming back. I'm sticking by that.
I think he is too. I really do. I just don't think I don't think his draft stock's high enough for him to justify to go.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. So, all right, well, let's switch gears. And today, Rutgers transfer Clifford Omoruyi is going to make his decision, Brett, on where he's playing basketball. This is going to be interesting because Bama's trying to get the transfer from Kentucky to come to Tuscaloosa. We wonder where Omoruyi's going to end up. Remember, he was in Tuscaloosa visiting Nate Oates a couple weeks ago. And everyone knows that Nate Oates and I are boys now, that we were at the mullet toss together. And no, I didn't ask him about this. I basically talked to him about mullet tossing, but at the same time, we're all tight now. Like as far as as
a matter of fact, we need to wrap this thing up. I think y'all have a lunch date this afternoon.
Yeah, we gotta go. I gotta go hang out with him and talk about this and more mullet toss. No, I'm just kidding. All right, what do you think? What do you think, Brett?
It's between Alabama, Georgetown, Kansas State, and North Carolina, all very good teams. I've got it right here. It's inside this fortune cookie. And
I love Chinese food, by the way. It's Cinco de Mayo, but you're eating Chinese. That's what I love about you, Brett. Always kind of thinking outside of the fortune cookie.
it says, I don't know.
Oh,
I think he's, of course, I think he's coming to Bama. I always say they are. I don't know, Mick. I don't know. I mean,
we'll find out.
Georgetown, Kansas State, North Carolina.
Can you imagine, though, Bama's in the conversation? Georgetown, right? Legacy of basketball. North Carolina, blue blood. Yeah. What'd you say the other one was? Kansas?
It's Kansas State.
Oh, Kansas. Okay, we'll count. Don't count them. We're just,
we're not going to count them.
But the other two. All right. What do we got going on today? Give us some facts and
figures for today.
Yeah. What do you got for us?
Well, you mentioned today is Cinco de Mayo. It is Cinco de Mayo. It's also Adele's birthday. She's 36 today. You like Adele?
Yeah. I don't mind Adele.
Let me tell you something, brother. It's Brooke Hogan's birthday too.
I remember the show. It was the Hogan Knows Best, and then the Hulkster's wife ran off with like one of like her daughter's friends, like went much younger than the Hulkster, and then the son was like racing cars, and he ended up going to jail. But I got to tell you, man, he's my favorite wrestler. Like, and it's not even close. Like, I love Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Love him.
And we're going to go to Tampa one day. And
we were talking about this. We were going to go to one of his autograph signings. That's what kind of friends we are.
That's right. 36.
Clearwater, brother.
Yeah. 36. She's 36 today.
Good for her. She was on the show. She was good on the show. She was going to, but wasn't she going to be like a singer or something?
Yeah, she tried that. She sucked.
She wasn't. The singing wasn't her thing. The thing I remember is that he was trying to teach her not to eat. And then when she would get hungry, she was supposed to drink water.
Yeah,
that's your secret.
Yeah, that's the secret. Just drink that water whenever you get hungry, and then eat a Snickers bar. Today is like we mentioned, Cinco de Mayo, but it's also.
I'm about to play your theme song. Do that one more time.
It's National Hoagie Day. Do you like a hoagie?
My son likes hoagies. I don't know if I like hoagies.
Like,
first we went to this place called Jimmy John's, and we would go there, and then we started making the Jimmy John's at home, which for me is a lot better because Jimmy John's and everything else is so expensive right now. I don't know if you've seen inflation, so make them at home. Yeah,
and of course, on this date, this is why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo, 1862. Make a little history lesson from Professor Elmore. Badly outnumbered, Mexican troops defeated the invading French forces in the Battle of Puebla, and the anniversary is known as Cinco de Mayo. And it's observed as a regional holiday there in Mexico, but it's a cultural holiday here in the Americas, the United States of America. And basically it's an excuse for a Mexican themed party and to drink lots of margaritas and Coronas until you pass out the floor.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Also this day.
Well, hold on. No, wait a second.
Okay.
Brett, have you ever been to Scottsdale, Arizona, Old Town?
Have I ever been to Scottsdale?
I know you've been to Arizona because you were there for the championship in 2015, but have you been to Scottsdale?
It seemed like we stayed in Scottsdale, didn't we?
Maybe you did. I didn't know you back then. I knew you, but we weren't teammates back then. Yeah. There's a restaurant called the Old Mission, and it's an Old Town Scottsdale.
Yeah.
And they have the best margarita. They also have like a wall that's like a salt wall, and I think you're supposed to like lick the wall. I'm not going to lick the wall, but I do love their margarita. I love it. Like the place is amazing. It's hard to get into. And when you get this margarita, it's like I do the jalapeno margarita. Wow. So, but you could also the other one is they're really fantastic. I mean, you can do different stuff in there, but the one for me is the jalapeno. But cucumber margarita, I who would have thought cucumber? Yeah, they're fantastic. Just keep that under your hat.
That's it. That's intriguing. So if you're in the area, go there and check it out.
Tell them the Mick sent you.
Tell them Mick sent you. Tell them you know Mick, the guy from the Bama YouTube channel, and also or the Bama Tailgate channel, and also he's friends with Nate Oates. You're a baseball guy, man. You're a baseball guy. 1904. Got to give you a little history. American League's first perfect game pitched.
Yeah.
By who?
Tell me.
Cy Young.
Yeah, why not, right? Because the award's named after Cy Young. I mean, didn't he have like 500 wins?
I don't know.
400 and something. Yeah, I think so.
Well, he led the Boston Americans to a 3-0 victory over Philly. That was his day, 1904. And really, that's just about it that's happened in this day in history. But hope everyone has a really good Cinco de Mayo.
Hold on, Brett. 511 wins for the Cleveland Spiders.
Wow.
The St. Louis Perfectos, the Boston Americans, the Cleveland Naps, and the Boston Rustlers.
Man, that's way back in the day, right?
Yeah. You got any of their hats?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Right. Take us out of here, Brett. Take us out of here.
All right. Well, it's time to go. Cinco de Mayo, and we all have big plans. Peace out to everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Bama Tailgate Show.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.